Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. What's up, freaks? Yeah. So this is a case we covered a long time ago, and I remember even back then we were thinking, man, maybe this guy's a serial killer, because apparently, I think I remember just vaguely, one of the victims said that like there was other girls, you know, something of that nature. But anyways, I went and found the old folder, the multiple folders that I had. So I thought it'd be interesting to go all back over it again, because he's been arrested for a murder of somebody. That was actually talked about back then. So, yeah. And we still have the wheel spins up from, there's some people still on there from yesterday in the later part of the show. So if you're out there and you can help support the channel, if you send in 5 or more, you get put up there on the wheel of names for the spin at the end to win a notebook. So far, the people who have won haven't contacted me yet. Let's see. Yeah, hit that like button. So I'm just going to go back in time and go over all these different things that we had in the past. I still have the map locations and everything, so it should be kind of easy. Yeah. All right. I don't know how the audio is on some of this stuff. It's so old. But this is back from October 7th of 2022. She was terrified. Neighbor helps woman held against her will and assaulted. Neighbors helped a woman who was going door to door screaming for help at around 7:47 a.m. Friday. She told neighbors and police she escaped a home where she was held against her will and sexually assaulted near Old Orchard Avenue and South Kimball Avenue. Police executed a search warrant at the home Friday. Let's see, neighbor Lisa Johnson noticed the woman hunched over and nearly crawling towards her. Johnson said it was obvious the woman had experienced trauma. She had marks on her wrists and face. Johnson called police. Her face was bound. Her face was bound. Huh, that's right. I remember that was weird. And she had taken that off. She had some kind of collar device on, Johnson said. She told me that she was being held, and the person she was being held by lived up the street. While Johnson called 911, neighbor Sierra Tharp, grandmother, let the woman inside Tharp's home. My grandmother said she had a metal collar around her neck, pretty tight. It was restricting her breathing. She had ligature marks on her wrist. She could tell she was pretty weak. She brought her inside and gave her some food and wrapped a blanket around her. And hello everybody. Hello, let's see, Amy Lemoyne, Sandy Shirley, Cindy J, 8675309. She's the one that found the article from today. Jessica Schubach, S. Timmons, Sandy Shirley, Annabelle Roma, Cindy J. Already said that. Zoe 413, Carol Monteverde. Let's see, Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming, Sub Crystal, and Wolf Girl, and Amy. I think I already said it. It's hard to remember which ones I've said already. Amy Lemoyne, Irene Cipher, etc. You know what's weird is, like when I do these live streams, I hardly get any subs and I hardly get any views if it's just cases like this. That's why it's so difficult for me. When I make the videos, though, I get way more views if it's the popular cases, and I get way more. I got like a video I made the other day. I got 1,000 subs from it. You know, and when I do these live streams, I get 0. And there's not very many people here, you know, so it gets sort of weird. I don't know what the algorithm for getting a lot of people watching your live streams, but I think you have to be like drama and have a big panel of people arguing or something, and then that might work. So what you do is you got to do drama, and then you mix in true crime in the middle of it once you've lured them in with the drama, right? Let's see. I guess it's still playing. It's just quiet. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, just watch. I don't know. You have to go back and watch the videos. How do I know? I don't remember who won the spins. Yeah, I mean, it's like I do it the same night of the show, so you would have been like, if you were here, you'd see it, right? Yep, thanks, L Blue. It says, police say the woman's description of what happened to her brought them to the home off Orchard Street. Investigators spent hours Friday executing search warrant at the home. Officers took a potential suspect into custody and do not believe any other suspects are involved. All right, so let's see what this lady says here. Hey, thanks, Amy Lemoyne. All right.
You gotta please help me. I've been raped. I've been held captive.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Sharon Chen. For the first time, we're hearing from neighbors who helped a woman who was going door to door screaming for help after she said she escaped a home. Well, that woman told police that a man was holding her against her will and had sexually assaulted her. KCTV5's Emily Rittman is live near Old Orchard and South Kimball Avenue, where police are executing a search warrant right now. And Emily, what can you tell us?
Well, Sharon, we are expecting a new update from police very soon, and we will share that with you as soon as we get it. And police told us earlier today that the woman was screaming for help and banging on doors around 7:47 this morning. We spoke with one neighbor who called 911 and another neighbor whose grandmother let the woman inside of her home to try and offer her some help. We also know that one neighbor said the woman reported that she had been held against her will since September.
Yeah, maybe you should, Lisa.
Earlier this morning, Lisa Johnson noticed a woman hunched over and nearly crawling toward her. She said it was obvious the woman had experienced trauma. She had marks on her wrist and face. Lisa called police.
Her face was bound that she had taken off. She had some kind of collar device on. She told me that she was being held and that the person she was being held by lived up.
I mean, how creepy. It sounds like she had like a whole helmet of duct tape on. Something like that, and then a collar. I mean, this sounds like some really sadistic crap.
While Lisa called 911, neighbor Sierra Thorpe's grandmother let the woman inside of her home.
My grandma said she had a metal collar around her neck, pretty tight. It was restricting her breathing. She had ligature marks she's seen on her wrists. Real disheveled. She could tell she was pretty weak. She brought her in, gave her some food, wrapped her in a blanket. She said, if somebody doesn't let me in, he's gonna find me and he's gonna kill me. I mean, he was not that far away. He was within a couple minutes away, taking his son to the school.
Police say the woman's description of what happened to her brought them to a home off Old Orchard, where investigators are executing a search warrant tonight. Police took a potential suspect into custody and do not believe any other suspects are involved.
She made the comment that my friends didn't make it, he killed my friends, they didn't make it. She just kept repeating it.
We have no further victims that we are aware of at this specific moment in time. We are still processing the warrant, and that all is subject to change. So she made mention of other victims, but there's no signs of them at this time that we have found.
Both neighbors hope the woman who escaped will be able to heal.
I know that she's in a better place right now than she was.
I'm so glad that she made it out. So glad that she made it. And I hope that she can get the help she needs to deal with this. I'm so thankful that my house, we were able to help.
And investigators say the woman reported to them that she did not know the man that was holding her against her will.
That's a long ways.
Again, police are expected to bring us an update with even more information. They have been actively searching this home
everybody.
for hours.
I can't believe it. I just realized I live 2,000 miles, only 2,000 miles away from this. Wow, that's incredible.
Today, so we
I feel so
bring
close
that update
to it.
you soon. We're hearing right now. We should have that around 6:15. Reporting live, Emily Rittman, KC TV5 News.
All right, there's one, and then let's see. I'm just going to go through all these that I had in order here. Police continue investigation Saturday into Excelsior Springs kidnapping. Let's see what this guy says.
Flow in residents through this crime scene is going to remain in place for multiple days. It is going to hinder traffic flow in residents through this area. We have multiple agencies out here that are helping us. What's getting ready to happen is the Kansas City Crime Scene Unit, which has been great through this entire thing. They're going to wrap up what they've done for this evening. They'll be finishing that within the next hour or two, and then they will be coming back in the morning first thing, and we'll be going at it again. So
Charges have been filed in a huge investigation. Thanks for joining us
That's
tonight.
the guy
I'm
right
Sharon
there.
Chen. Now, this man right there that you see on your screen, Timothy Haslett Jr., he now faces rape, kidnapping, and assault charges. He was arrested after a frantic woman started pounding on people's doors, claiming that she had been raped and held against her will. Tonight, a house on Old Orchard Street is the center of the investigation. We saw dogs searching the property a little earlier today, and that's where we find KCTV5's Betsy Webster. And Betsy, what is happening there now?
Well, you can probably see all of these flashing lights around me. I'll tell you, investigators have gone home for the night, but you can see the crime tape is still up. Those flashing lights, highway patrol troopers who are keeping an eye on this area. They even have floodlights up on the house. They're doing what they call holding the scene. Though investigators have gone home, they will be coming back tomorrow. They will be here for several days, according to the local police department. And I'll tell you, for neighbors, this whole thing has them feeling disgusted, creeped out, and saddened for this woman. But Those emotions are even more intense for a
That's a
woman
long ways,
who
Daphne.
responded when she heard the victim screaming for help.
I didn't know if it was a joke, being October, because that's what it looked like, a kind of a Halloween scene.
Lisa Johnson heard the screaming at her door at 7:40 a.m. "Help me," the woman said.
She told me she was hogtied, and you could see where she was tied.
The marks on her wrist.
Yeah, and she definitely had it around the face for a while that she had pulled down.
The woman said she'd escaped from this house around the corner.
And that if he knew I called the cops, that he would kill both of us.
Johnson called 911 anyway. Then the woman went next door.
She was terrified. She said, if somebody doesn't let me in, he's going to find me and he's going to kill me.
Sierra Tharp's grandmother took her in there.
My grandma said she had a metal collar around her neck, pretty tight.
I think this is
It
where the
was
neighbor
restricting
is.
her breathing. She had ligature marks she's seen on her wrists. Real disheveled. She could tell she was pretty weak. She brought her in, gave her some food, wrapped her in a blanket.
When we made contact with her, it was readily apparent that she had been held against her will for a significant period of time.
Police arrested Timothy Haslett, then got a search warrant for the house. At least half a dozen agencies convened to go meticulously through the property. They towed a truck for evidence. They put up a tent.
With her, it was readily apparent that she had been held against her will for a significant period of time.
Police arrested Timothy Haslett, then got a search warrant for the house. At least half a dozen agencies convened to go meticulously through the property. They towed a truck for evidence. They put up a tent. Later, open barrels could be seen in that area. By evening, they had a cadaver dog out.
She made the comment that he killed my friends, didn't make it. He killed my friends, they didn't make it. She just kept repeating it.
We can't report on the actual findings of the dog yet. They're going to give us an actual report.
Hey, Charisma, what happened to your membership?
As soon as we get that report from them, we're going to let you guys know.
I'm so glad that she made it out. So glad that she made it. And I hope that she can get the help she needs to deal with this. I'm so thankful that my house, we were able to help.
And police say she is now at the hospital still with her family at her side. Now, they noted they'll be coming back here first thing tomorrow morning. Again, as I said, several days. And they asked the neighbors, they said, look.
Yeah, we know
this area is gonna be
Charisma.
blocked
We know
off
what the
for a
house is.
while.
Thank you.
We know it's an inconvenience for you all, but please.
I've only showed it
have
1,600
patience
times
with us.
already.
Give us some grace as we try to make sure that we do not miss a single thing to be sure that this.
All right, there's that one. Then let's see. Man charged after woman tells Excelsior Springs police she was kidnapped, sexually assaulted. For what? I already knew what house it was. I was showing the neighbor's house that helped. Charges have been filed against a man after a woman reported to Excelsior Springs police that she had been kidnapped, held against her will, and sexually assaulted. Alright, so let's see what this video looks like. It's right here, right by these trees. It's that house right there. There's no street view around that time, though. What's chilly? Is it cold out there, Maria? I mean, we've only shown the house like 10 times. I don't know if we need to have a description of it. No, it's like a monthly thing, Maria. This is in Missouri. And you can see a little bit better on this one. Not sure if there's any really valuable stuff in there.
My name is Sierra Tharp. I've lived here all my life. I'm 38 years old, and I was the house where that lady luckily came to my door and was brought in.
Just tell us, was it like any other regular morning?
Yeah, actually I was starting a new job.
Okay.
At our bus barn. I was being a monitor for our early childhood center.
Oh, wow.
And I was on the bus, and my grandma called me, and I'm like, it's got to be an emergency. She's like, I'll talk to you when you get home. And she's like, the police are gone. Well, when I got home, I walked in the door, and I'm like, no, they're up the road. And I'm thinking, what the heck? There's tons of cops everywhere. And she just looked at me, and she said, that's where the girl said she was raped. And I'm like, what? I was like, what girl? And I'm thinking a neighbor.
Yeah. Okay.
And she told me, she said that she was sitting there, and a lady come banging on the door, and she heard screaming. And she opened the door, and the lady said, you got to help me. She said, I've been raped. I've been held captive. She's like, you got to help me. He's going to kill me.
Wow.
And she took a minute because she has, you know, an almost 2-year-old in the house.
Yeah.
And then she said, my heart told me that I needed to help.
Wow.
She's seen the state she was in, and she brought her in. She sat her down on my couch and wrapped her in a blanket I had on my couch and grabbed food and water. She was weak, and she had a metal dog collar around her neck and duct tape, which we're kind of guessing that was around her mouth.
Just
that
Cindy,
she
just
maybe
be patient,
pulled down.
okay? Thanks.
My grandma said she had ligature marks on her wrists.
The way it described like this,
My grandma said it was a metal collar, and the way she described it was like a bad, she called it a bad dog collar.
It
She
was
said,
restricting your breathing?
yeah, it was restricting her breathing. She said that they couldn't cut it with scissors or anything, whatever it was made out of, and she said that they did cut it some, and they were able to loosen it so she could breathe, but that they had left it there. And of course she said the duct tape was around her neck.
Yeah.
She flung that door open, she let that dog out, and she just ran. And a lot of people, you know, are questioning, well, why did she go to her neighbor's house? And I think you walk out his door, you see my street. So I think she just, you know, panic mode, I need to get out of here. And to me, going down that hill, you can still see that house, but you're kind of sheltered. You know, like shielded to where I think she ran, and then she's like, I need help.
Yeah.
And my grandma said she was clothed. She had some like shorts on, and she said she didn't have much on, but she did have some clothes on.
Okay.
But she said that was the last thing I was even thinking about.
Of what she had on.
Yeah. And she could tell she was real weak and real hungry.
Your grandmother really did a heroic thing.
Yeah. And actually she apologized. She said, I'm sorry I brought the police to your house. And I said, no. I said, you did the right thing. I said, that's what I would have done. I said, if you would have told her no, her telling him no, that was a few minutes he could have been there and grabbed her. And so she was trying to find somewhere because she knew he'd be back. And then the police came in, and she was talking about how gentle the police were. Like, she was like, they were so, like, they handled it so great. And she said that she did say, she made the comment that my friends didn't make it out. He killed my friends. They didn't make it out.
Did she give any indication as to how many of her friends?
No.
No, she just said friends.
Yeah,
plural.
she just kept saying that because she's worried
It's
about
not a
friends.
Sherry Papini situation.
She said she told them exactly.
Sherry Papini. Are you kidding me? No, the guy's already been arrested. He's like a serial killer. This is a real event that actually happened.
His name. She knew the exact name, the exact house. But she told me, she said, that girl knew her facts. She told them everything she could. She's like, and that story never changed.
So she had said that she had been there since September?
Yeah, she said she had been there since September.
No, it's October now, but at what time? When in September?
Was that early September?
She didn't. I don't think she really said.
Okay. Anything else that you can think of that your grandmother told you maybe that hasn't been said or should be?
No, I don't think so. I know one thing that's going around is a sex.
Yeah, I'm going back. I already said he's been charged with a murder, okay? I'm just going back in time. This is how it was when we covered it back in October of 2022. There was like 3 days in a row where I covered it, so I have a bunch of different videos, and you'll get a whole feel of it, okay? That's about the best way to do it.
Trafficking, and it really doesn't sound like sex trafficking.
Okay.
She's kind of under the impression, and the way she described it to me, it sounded like that she probably knew him. I know the news said no, but...
So you had said that that you had spoken with him in the past. You've had some
Yes.
interaction with him.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone well. Can you maybe?
Yeah, I had went up. I don't remember if I was chasing my dog. I have a husky that likes to run, but I was up there either chasing my dog or I was walking one of my dogs, and this little puppy, pit bull, I think it was a pit bull, come running over, and most people, you know, especially here in town, you know, I helped him. Being a dog mom that chases her dog, I tried helping, and there wasn't a thank you. He was very cold and very kind of rude and everything. And that was the only time I've talked to him. But like, I've only seen him a few times outside, and the last time I seen him was a couple months ago, and he's outside his truck, emergency flashers going, and just his actions were odd to me. But not enough that I, you know, it kind of stuck out, but I just went on like, oh, he's creepy. Well, the house looks dead. Like, I didn't even know a child lived there besides the trampoline. I didn't know there was a kid there until yesterday.
Okay, well, I know your grandmother doesn't want to speak, but you know, she's heroic for having done this and really made a difference in this person's life, and you know, in saving them.
Yeah, I told her that. I said, "You're a hero," and she said, "No, I'm not."
Yeah,
she's like, "I did what I was supposed to." She's like,
"That's cool."
But she's like that. She's like, I don't want to.
Let's see. What do you have for the notes? None. All right, here's another guy.
Okay, and you said that your mom lives here. You don't live here, but your mom lives right here?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me, first of all, just what you know about the people who live in this house or what you've seen.
I mean, I come over here two, 3 times a week just to hang out with Mom, obviously. And every time I've come out here, I shouldn't say every time, but often he's outside, you know, playing with his dog. He's got a little drone that he flies around outside, and he always seemed like he was a little weird, but never anything to that extent. Yeah.
And so you mentioned you've delivered pizzas to that house multiple times?
Yeah, so I used to work at Pizza Hut here in town, and I've delivered to his house several times, and I always thought it was weird when he asked us to come inside to give the tip, but I mean, several people do that, but for some reason it was just weird with this guy, and clearly we missed something that we should have saw.
Did you go inside?
Yeah, just into the living room, not very far in, just right inside the doorway usually.
When you say weird, is it just a bad vibe? Or did
Yes, exactly. Just quiet.
Like I say, would deliver pizza to him.
You know, not someone that would invite you into their living room and then not talk. People usually invite you into their living room, they want to talk to you or something, you know, he would be silent after I'd walk in there. It's just, he's a weird guy.
Yeah. So I know we're still waiting for confirmation from police, but we at least know they're investigating a kidnapping and sexual assault. So what's your reaction to what we do know so far?
It's insane. I can't imagine I can't believe that happened in this neighborhood. Nothing like that's ever happened around here as far as I'm aware, and it just blows my mind.
Sorry.
Just can't imagine how it could happen.
Yeah, knowing that you've been there and you've been in that house, I mean, how does that make you feel, or what's your reaction?
Since I've heard about this all this morning, I was sitting at work earlier thinking about it, like I wish I would have caught something, you know, saw something that was off, weird. I don't know how long it's been going on for, but I've delivered pizzas to him for a few years, and just never saw anything.
I've been hearing that she may have been banging on doors, the woman that was able to escape, and asking neighbors for help. What do you think about the fact that, you know, a woman had to do that, and that thankfully somebody did wind up helping her?
I'm glad that somebody opened the door. I'm glad that she was able to escape. I don't know how that happened, but thank God.
Through this area, we have multiple agencies out here that are helping us. What's getting ready to happen is the Kansas City Crime Scene Unit, which has been great through this entire thing. They're going to wrap up what they've done for this evening. They'll be finishing that within the next hour or two, and then they will be coming back in the morning first thing, and we'll be going at it again. So this is an ongoing, we continue to find more and more stuff. The dog that was out here earlier that many of you saw, that's a cadaver dog. We can't report on the actual findings of the dog yet. They're going to give us an actual report. As soon as we get that report from them, we're going to let you guys know. So they did come out, they did a thorough search of the grounds. There was a truck that was here earlier. That truck has been moved into an evidence holding area for us.
Hey, thanks so much, Lisa Valenzuela and Ella Blue.
The cadaver dog has went down there and is also checking the truck. So we're just trying to cross our T's and dot our I's on this. At some point, this whole area is going to be secured at this property. We expect to have this property and holding it for an extended period of time. So at this time, that's about the best I can give you as far as our investigation up to this point. You guys are welcome to stay here as long as you want. I just ask that you please be respectful of the residents in this area. And like I said, we will be back here first thing in the morning. I'm not going to take very many questions. If you weren't here for the very first briefing that I gave, I can try to clarify some of those things. Other than that, that's what...
This is a case of Timothy Haslett Jr. from October 2022. He apparently had somebody like in a basically like a torture chamber thing in his house, and she escaped. And then there was rumblings of him killing somebody else, like the girl herself said something about how there was this other girl, and it turns out he's just been arrested for the murder of that person. The police didn't really believe her or anything like that at the beginning.
Where we're at. Anybody?
Lieutenant, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors.
Hey, thanks so much, Lori
What
B.
can you tell us about what happened here?
So this morning at about 7:47 a.m., a woman apparently came from this residence, and she began banging and screaming on neighboring doors. While she was doing that, a neighbor took her in and secured her until...
So here, this guy's basically right here going to be telling you the story.
Apparently came from this residence, and she began banging and screaming on neighboring doors. While she was doing that, a neighbor took her in and secured her until we could make contact with her. When we made contact with her, it was readily apparent that she had been held against her will for a significant period of time. So we then had her transported to an area hospital where she is now in stable condition. Then from there, based on her statements, it led us to this residence, which is turned into this search warrant that you guys have seen executed right in front of you guys all day today from multiple agencies, and that's going to continue for the next few days.
A possible suspect name has been floating around. Can you give us the name of the suspect?
We're not going to release the suspect. I'm sorry, I meant to give you guys that as well. The suspect is in custody. We are submitting charges this evening. We expect that those charges, once they get processed, then we're going to give you guys the name. So that's all on the prosecutors. There was a group of people out here that you guys saw earlier. Some of those were from the prosecutor's office. So we expect that that will be coming either late tonight or first thing in the morning. And once he gets charged, then we'll give you his name.
You know, I understand that, she ran to the neighbors, went to neighbors for help. Here's a woman screaming, "Help me." It's frightening then for the neighbors too.
Sure.
And yet someone called 911 and someone else let her in their home. Anything you want to say to those neighbors who played a role and got involved?
That's Excelsior Springs for you. I mean, you guys have probably been out here more than we would like to see you guys out here in the last few weeks and months. But every time you come out here, I think that's the message that seems to rise up, is that Excelsior Springs community steps up, they help each other. And I mean, there's a parent at 8 o'clock in the morning before she went to work, she was willing to let a stranger into her house, looking how she looked. That had to be frightening. So,
what makes this a multi-day investigation?
The crimes, the nature of the crimes. So it just makes it so that we can't finish it in a day. That's the reality of it. We just can't finish it in a day and make sure that we've crossed all of our T's and dotted our I's.
Is this the only...
Wondering if there were multiple victims.
Yeah, we're not commenting on that at this time.
Is this the only crime scene that you are investigating?
It is.
With the cadaver dog, that suggests that potentially looking for someone who may have died. Have you seen any signs of a person having died in that house at this stage in the investigation?
Other than the cadaver dog, we're not providing any comment on that part of the investigation.
I know you can't provide details, but did the dog find something?
So I can't provide what its findings were preliminary. They're going to give us an exact report is what they told us, and as soon as they give that to us, we expect that soon, I would assume.
But you can't say they found something?
They're going to give us a report of their findings, whether it was positive or negative. So the way I understand it from my detectives is that they're going to give us a report. I don't know for sure.
And my understanding is whether you found some preliminary indication of another victim or not, you would have called the cadaver dog solely based on the statement of the victim.
Correct. Her statement is pivotal. So, and as I mentioned multiple times, we just want to make sure that we leave no stone unturned. So that's part of that process. Again, that goes Kansas City. We've got surrounding municipalities, whether it's Liberty Police Department, the State Highway Patrol. You'll see all of them out here at some point tonight. They're all helping us tonight. So,
do you know how she's doing? I mean, is she going to be okay? Obviously, mentally it's difficult, but I understood she was malnourished and all of this. Is she still receiving care at the hospital?
She is.
Yeah, she wasn't. I don't think she was intended to live, so she probably wasn't fed or anything. Thank you, SS Tim. I'm not sure how to say that. S. Stimmons, or is it SS Timmons?
Family has shown up there, and they're with her. So, as far as mentally, that's probably going to be the most challenging part for her. Physically, I think she's going to be fine.
The man who lived here, did he own the home or rent the home?
He did not own the home. So he is not the homeowner here, but this is his primary residence.
Have the homeowners been notified about the crime scene?
Mm-hmm.
Are the homeowners family members?
No.
Okay.
With all of the rumors going around the city, what's your message to the community?
The Excelsior Springs is safe. We have him in custody, and we are doing our best to serve you guys. And then the follow-up to that is please just give us some grace when it comes to this location. We need this area to give justice to the victims and make sure that she is taken care of and that this case doesn't fall by the wayside. So please give us some grace in this area. It's going to be really difficult for the coming days for them to move in and about this area.
Was she involved in a missing persons case or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge at this point. We have had where she is from, that metro agency has been looking into that.
Where is she from?
I can't say at this time.
Nearby, though?
Are you not charging him yet because you're still waiting for results from the cadaver dog? Or
no, we are just filling out our probable cause affidavits. That's all we're doing. That's all just...
I wonder if that results would add to it, and then you would...
No, we'll do...
them all at once.
No, we're just going to do our preliminary from today's incident.
Is she, I know you're not saying where she's from, we certainly wouldn't want to identify her, but is she from the local area, not out of the Kansas City
She's
metro?
from the metro.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you for your time.
Well, there you go. Hopefully that got people caught up. I'm trying to get something fixed here. Hold on. I have to keep going in and out. Yeah, that should be good now. I had this thing set up to highlight, and it was like, I think it had a space on there, so every comment was highlighting. It was weird. I'm just going through all the articles I had from that day.
Yes, unfortunately, this is true. The man who was holding this woman hostage and assaulting her was dropping off his first grader at the elementary school down the street. I'm sure that I probably was there at the same time as him for open house last month. It's horrible what that child has surely seen. The father is arrested and charged with 3 different counts.
Why, he has a kid and those people in the house?
I did look at the court records. He divorced...
By the way, how do you do the... like, if you're blowing your nose with one of those rings in there, it must make it kind of gross, you know?
I did look at the court records. He divorced this child's mother in 2016. She got custody. It looks as though he took her back to court in 2018, which I assume that he was awarded custody at that time. Other members...
What's this one?
I live in the small town of Excelsior Springs, Missouri, and this morning, while a man was in the drop-off line at my children's elementary school, a woman escaped his home where she had been held against her will and assaulted. The neighbors found her screaming for help in the road. During an interview with the news, one of the neighbors said that the girl, after they got her safe and in their home, told them that her friends did not make it. And she was in
Ash-centric.
A lot
Wait, hold on.
home, told them that her friends did not make it.
Yeah, so she had other friends that were with her that didn't make it, you know.
And she was in a lot of distress, and she is at our local city hospital now. The man is in custody, and multiple law enforcement agencies are carrying out a search warrant on the home, and they did say that they have cadaver dogs there, but have not said whether or not they have found anything.
Yeah. Then we have this one. Maybe I can still see it on the side. An Excelsior Springs man faces charges of kidnapping and rape after police say a malnourished victim who spent a significant period of time held against her will apparently broke free from his home early Friday morning, screaming for neighbors to help her. The suspect, Timothy Haslett Jr., was promptly arrested, followed by hours of police investigation centered on a small white house on a corner lot. On Friday night, Police Chief Gregory Dole announced in a statement that Haslett had been charged with first-degree rape, first-degree kidnapping, and second-degree. So this is all he was charged with back then. The reason we're going over this again is because he was charged today with murder of a different person, and that was one of the ones that she said her friends didn't make it. Let's see, is this still... No, that's from today. It's not the right... Yeah, that does say... Yeah, I'm going to move to the next day of information. Alright. Well, see, a lot of this stuff isn't going to be... I can't even see it these days. Let's see, resume... I guess that's not going to work. Oh, maybe. A woman who escaped captivity in Excelsior Springs home had been raped repeatedly while being kept in a room designed to hold her hostage since sometime in early September. Wow, so over a month, according to charging documents filed Tuesday in Clay County Circuit Court. But by the way, before we go over those, we might as well go over the actual, because I have this really old, I didn't even remember I had this one, but this is in one of those old folders that I had. So let's see what it says. At about 7:47, Excelsior Springs officers were dispatched to give an address on the report of a female who showed up at the front door wearing a trash bag, metal collar with a padlock, and duct tape around her neck. The party advised the caller that she had been held hostage at a nearby residence since September. Upon the officers' arrival at the residence, they found she was wearing latex lingerie and had a metal collar around her neck with a padlock and duct tape around her neck. TJ advised that a man by the name of Timothy picked her up on Prospect in Kansas City. So maybe a road. Maybe that's I don't know. Sure if that's like a sex worker street in Kansas City. At the beginning of September 2022, she advised Timothy had kept her in a small room in the basement that he had built. He kept her restrained in handcuffs on her wrists and ankles. She was able to get free when he left to take his child to go to school, just like that girl said in that TikTok. Excelsior Springs EMS removed the lock from the collar as it was restricting TJ's breathing. TJ was transported to the Excelsior Springs Hospital by ambulance. Sergeant Samantha Nash, something ST, so St. John Road in the ambulance. TJ advised she could point out the residence if the ambulance could drive by. The ambulance drove by, and then TJ indicated it was the residence where she was held as a hostage. TJ further advised that Timothy had whipped her while she was restrained. There were injuries on her back that were consistent with this description. TJ advised that Timothy had raped her multiple times and frequently while she was held as a hostage. So the mere fact that I just read those words, that means I can't be monetized in terms of the live stream. You know, doesn't that suck? But that's just the way it is. You know, it lets you challenge it, and then a day later they'll go, oh yeah, you're fine. But nobody watches that live stream 2 days later. A records check showed the resident was Timothy something. Haslett currently has 3 active warrants for failure to appear out of Clay County, Missouri. I believe Timothy Marion Haslett Jr. poses a danger to a crime victim, the community, or another person. Haslett is accused of kidnapping, sodomy, and armed criminal action. Hey, thanks, Micus. So we had that, and I think we were reading this one. When contacted by police, the woman was wearing latex. Yeah, so basically that whole thing we just read is in that one. Oop, there goes my stomach again. Court documents. Woman tells police Excelsior Spring man picked her up off Prospect last month, kept her in a small room.
This afternoon, KMBC 9's Matt Evans is outside the Clay County Courthouse in Liberty with what police documents reveal. Matt?
Chris Haslett appeared virtually today from the Clay County Jail here at the Clay County Courthouse. A judge read him the charges against him, including the possible punishments he is facing before entering a not guilty plea on his behalf, and then telling Haslett he would be assigning him a public defender in this case. This all comes as we are learning more disturbing details about the case released from court documents today.
This is KMBC.
The bevy of police activity at this home on Old Orchard Road in Excelsior Springs has been replaced today by an eerie calm. The home is fenced off and boarded up as police now begin to examine all the evidence they collected here.
We don't have a timeline. We know it's going to be somewhat of a lengthy investigation.
Police Chief Gregory Dole says he understands the public wants to know more information, but also cautions that it might be a while before that can happen.
We want to make sure that we don't do anything that would compromise the integrity or the outcome of the investigation. We want to see that justice is upheld, not only for the victim in this case, but also for this community. We believe that they deserve that, so we just want to make sure that we get it right.
We did learn more from this probable cause statement today, released in Clay County. In it, the victim, a 22-year-old woman, told police Haslett picked her up on Prospect Avenue in Kansas City in early September and held her captive in a small room in his basement where he sexually assaulted her until she was finally able to escape last Friday when Haslett took his child to school. Police were there when he got back less than an hour later.
We established a perimeter around the house very quickly, and sure enough, the guy came back and we were able to take him into custody without incident.
Chief Dole also telling us today that taking Haslett into custody before he was able to get back inside the house helped preserve that large amount of evidence they collected, that they are now beginning that painstaking process of going through everything. Haslett, by the way, due back in court 1 week from today at 1:30 p.m. next Tuesday.
Okay, so look at that. I was just looking this up on the side here. It says, last Wednesday was not a good night if you were looking for a good time along streets in Northeast. The East Patrol Division of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department conducted an undercover vice sting operation along sections of Independence Avenue and along portions of Prospect Avenue. The division sent out women officers dressed as prostitutes, as well as as well as they used undercover male officers to try and broker a deal with existing prostitutes along the streets. So it looks like Prospect Avenue, that's what that is, so he probably just picked her up. That's why that's a dangerous job.
For a bond hearing. Live in Liberty this evening, Matt Evans, KBC 9 News.
See, man charged after malnourished women wearing dog collar, says he escaped. Yeah, these guys are always like a day late. What's this one? ABC News. Missouri police allegedly dismissed claims. Okay, so here's one.
The defendant, Timothy Haslett, on 9.
See, look at this. This is October 17th, 2022. Missouri police allegedly dismissed claims about abducted black women before woman escaped from the basement. I wonder if she's black too, the victim here. I mean, I bet you she is. Missouri police officers have faced criticism from some members of the community after they were accused of dismissing claims about the abduction of black women weeks before a woman made a dramatic escape from a basement she was being held captive in. Excelsior Springs, Missouri resident Timothy Haslett, 39, was arrested on October 7th after a woman escaped his home, according to probable cause affidavit for the arrest. She told neighbors that she had been held captive for a month in the basement. After a 22-year-old woman fled, she showed up at the front door of a neighbor's home wearing lingerie, a metal collar with a padlock, and duct tape around her neck, according to court document. It was readily apparent that she had been held against her will for a significant period of time. Excelsior Springs Police Lieutenant Ryan Dowdy told reporters during a news conference on October 7th, according to ABC News. Last month, the Kansas City Defender, a nonprofit media startup, posted a video to TikTok alleging that the killer had been targeting young black girls in the area. So last month, the Kansas City Defender, a nonprofit media startup, posted a video to TikTok alleging that a serial killer had been targeting young black girls in the area. So that's probably this guy right here, right? The video alleged that 4 girls had been killed and 3 went missing in the area, according to the newspaper. In the video, Bishop Tony Caldwell, a local Kansas City community leader, this is an article that I had from, October 17, 2022. In the video, Bishop Tony Caldwell, a local Kansas City community, it's probably what 8675309 was referring to, said he was one of many in the area who had made reports to police of numerous murdered and missing black women who had been taken from an area on Prospect Avenue in Kansas City. Okay, so that's obviously a sex worker strip, they're there, he goes and picks them up, and I bet you if hitchhiking still was a thing, he would have abducted them. Sex workers are about the only people that still get into people's car without knowing them. Almost nobody hitchhikes anymore. After the video went viral, Kansas City Police Department spokesperson Donna Drake said in a statement there was no basis to support this rumor, describing the reports as completely unfounded. Well, there is. The woman who escaped, who is black, I guess she is, I didn't know that, told investigators that Haslett allegedly picked her up on Prospect Avenue in September and then kept her in a small room in a basement he built. Haslett allegedly kept her restrained by her feet and ankles and whipped her repeatedly, according to the probable cause affidavit. She was only able to escape when Haslett left to take his child to school, the woman said. I wonder if he's racist too. I mean, what the hell is he doing? Basement built. Haslett allegedly kept her restrained by her feet and ankles and whipped her repeatedly. She was only able to escape when Haslett left to take his child to school, the woman said, according to the court document. She was treated at the hospital and released on October 7th. After the victim escaped and searched for help, she told neighbors that her friends didn't make it, alleging that Haslett killed them. Ciara Tharp, whose grandmother... So there must be... he might be charged with another murder at some point. Because it says friends with a plural, right? They didn't make it. Alleging that Haslett killed them, Ciara Thorpe, whose grandmother provided shelter for the victim until police arrived, told CBS Kansas City affiliate KCTV. Excelsior Springs police confirmed to the Daily Mail that detectives are actively investigating the possibility of 2 more victims. Kansas City Police Department spokesman said in a statement to ABC that there have been no reports of missing persons, more specifically, women missing from Prospect Avenue in Kansas City, Missouri, filed to the department. Hey, thanks for 15 months. All right. In order to begin a missing persons investigation, someone would need to file a report with our department identifying the missing party. The statement read, again, we notify the media public anytime our department responds to a homicide in our city and none match or have been reported to what has been described. Dole declined to provide further updates as to the status of the investigation. Haslett was charged with first-degree rape or attempted rape, first-degree kidnapping, and second-degree assault, to which he has entered a non-guilty plea.
Felony counts. In count 1, rape in the first degree. In counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, sodomy in the first degree. In count 6, kidnapping in the first degree. In count 7 and 8, assault in the second degree. And in count 9, endangering the welfare of a child. The judge has set the defendant's bond at $3 million. The case will be heard next on February 17th at 9 o'clock in Division 4 of the Clay County Courthouse.
I mean, if you're going to do $3 million, why not 50? You know, like what's the point? It's not obtainable to $3 million, so why not just go 50 and then there's no chance? I think that was it for that one. Let me see the next part. Well, these are some from today.
Brutal and barbaric. Choice words from the Clay County prosecutor adding murder charges to an ongoing case. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Katz.
And I'm Laura Moritz. The victim, 36-year-old Janie Crossdale. Police found her body last year in the Missouri River in Saline County.
So they actually found her body. That was one of the people that, the victim that was assaulted knew.
Tonight, Timothy Haslett Jr. faces charges for her death and the violent kidnapping of another woman.
KNBC 9's Brian Johnson is live at the Clay County Courthouse in Liberty. And Brian, you've read those charging documents.
Here, why don't we just read these instead? It's kind of hard to read because you see through it a little bit, but. Yeah, so I guess this is back then. I thought this is from today. Yeah, it's July 9, 2024. On October 7, 2022, at approximately 7:47 hours, Excelsior Springs police officers were dispatched to an address, Excelsior Springs, Clay County, Missouri, on the report of a female who arrived at the front door of the residence dressed in a trash bag, metal collar, and a padlock and duct tape around her neck. The female told the calling party she had been held hostage at a nearby residence since September of 2022. Officers contacted the female, who wore latex lingerie, a black head mask with a dildo gag, a metal collar around her neck with a padlock and duct tape. She advised she was walking on Prospect Avenue in Kansas City, Jackson County, Missouri at the beginning of September. She stated she wore a red wig, red tutu, black tank top, black jeans, leggings, and a Harry Potter shirt. Someone named Timothy, who drove a 4-door pickup truck with camouflage in the back, approached her, got into the truck after Timothy offered her $350 to go to his house. En route, Timothy pulled a gun on her and forced her to perform an oral sex on him. She was also forced to take a hit of dope, narcotics. When she fell asleep, Timothy took her. Man, this guy's right up there with Huerman. Same kind of dude. I mean, look at this. When she fell asleep, Timothy took her. Let's see. So when she fell asleep, Timothy took her 3 cell phones, an LG CoolPad, and another phone that was factory reset. Once at Timothy's residence, he kept locked restraints on her wrists and ankles in a secured room in a basement, best described hereafter as a dungeon. That's exactly what I said a few minutes ago, which terrified her. She described the room as having multiple locks, red lights, paddles, chains, cameras, and all types of things that could be used for torture. She was forced to use the restroom in a bucket and drugged with ice. She stated, I guess ice is a narcotic. She stated Timothy choked, whipped, and forced her to perform oral, vaginal, and anal sex. These acts occurred every day of her captivity. She advised Timothy dressed in female lingerie during the times of, see, God, what a weirdo. That's probably why she had the dildo gag. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, what's this guy doing? Timothy dressed in female lingerie during the times of the assaults in the dungeon. He's like that guy from Canada that who's that? He was like a captain in the army, military. I always forget. Russell something or other. Yeah, like that guy. He did that. He would dress up as a female. Took all those pictures. Yeah. Once at Timothy's residence, he kept locked restraints on her wrists and ankles. I think she was also forced to take a hit of dope. I think I skipped a part here, didn't I? No, I think I was here. These acts occurred every day of her captivity. Dressed in female lingerie during the times of the assaults in the dungeon, she stated Timothy fed her once a day, either peanut butter and jelly or ham sandwich. She had to perform oral sex in order to eat. Timothy would call her a sex slave. Man, what a nightmare. That guy should get the death penalty. Just for, even if he didn't kill the other person, this guy, the kind of guy like this, deserves a death penalty. She stated Timothy told her there were 2 other females he held captive who didn't make it. She did not know their names. There were no other females while she was there. She stated on her first night at the residence, Timothy used a gas mask on her. She described a cycle of not being able to breathe while wearing the mask, and then he would let her breathe. Timothy told her he killed the first female by using a gas mask, and she didn't last 3 minutes. The second girl died by electrocution with a device that was used in her vaginal area. Timothy said, geez, he is a serial killer. I mean, this guy's probably killed way more people than, how many people have gone missing? He's 39 years old. That means he started this stuff a long time before that. Hey, but by the way, I got to do one of my sales pitches. So if you guys are out there and you're able to help support my channel, it relies on the income on the live streams from your generosity. If you're able to support the channel, that's great. I understand it's hard times, so a lot of people can't do it, but if you can, I would appreciate it. There's all kinds of different ways: PayPal, Super Chats, the what do you call it, the Cash App, etc. The mods know what those are, but I would appreciate it. Yeah, I just said he's the military guy from Canada, Charisma. Yeah. She stated Timothy told her there were 2 other females he held captive who didn't make it. She did not know their names. There were no other females while she was there. She stated on her first night at the residence, Timothy used a gas mask on her. She described a cycle of not being able to breathe while wearing the mask, and then he would let her breathe. Timothy told her he killed the first female by using a gas mask, and she didn't last 3 minutes. The second girl died by electrocution with a device that was used in her private part. Timothy said if she did not listen to him, he would suffocate her and put her in a barrel like the rest of them. So he described what he did. In a follow-up interview, she stated Timothy inserted electric shocking sex toys into her vaginal area and, I'll just say vagina and anus at the same time to punish her. Hey, thanks, Chicken Wing. She slipped her arms out of the chains. She hurt. Is this out of order here? Let me see. These have no. Looks like they're the right numbers. 3, 2, 1. That's just kind of how it ends. Page 1, and then the next one says time to punish her, and that says she slipped her arms out of the chains. Or is there something that's, I don't know, it's weird, like it just starts in the middle of a sentence somewhere. She slipped her arms out of the chains. She heard Timothy leave with his son. His son, I guess it's with a name, white male juvenile, who also lived in the residence. Oh, interesting. So she slipped out of the chains and she heard him leave, pulled the keypad off the wall, and heard the door unlock. She ran upstairs and saw a gun in the front room. She and a dog fled the house through the front door. Excelsior Springs EMS responded and removed the lock from the collar around her neck as it restricted her ability to breathe. Let's see. She ran upstairs and pulled a keypad off the wall, heard a door unlock. She ran upstairs and saw a gun in the front room. She and a dog fled the house through the front door. The EMS responded at the neighbor's house and removed the lock from the collar around her neck as it restricted her ability to breathe. Officers observed injuries to her back consistent with her description of having been whipped. She was transported to the Excelsior Springs Hospital for treatment. Excelsior Springs Sergeant accompanied Jones to the hospital. En route, she identified the the residence where the guy lived. A record check of Timothy was conducted and revealed Timothy Haslett, white male, or a record check of the property was conducted and revealed Timothy Haslett Jr., white male, born 11/23/1982, as being a resident. Yeah. And then surveillance of the residence was conducted on October 7th, 2022. I'll do that. At approximately 8:41 hours, a gray in color Dodge Ram pickup truck bearing Missouri license plate of, we don't know, arrived at the residence. A traffic stop was conducted, which revealed Timothy Haslett, white male, 11/23/1982, as the driver. Haslett was arrested on multiple charges, and a black Samsung cell phone was recovered from his person. The Dodge Ram pickup truck was towed for processing. But both the phone and truck were searched pursuant to the search warrant, or search warrants. On October 7, 2022, a Clay County search warrant was executed at that address. A room in the basement was located that matched the description provided by the girl, the victim. The residence was processed by members of the Excelsior Springs, Missouri Police Department, Kansas City, Missouri Police Crime Scene Unit, and the Independence, Missouri Police Crime Scene Unit. Numerous items of lingerie were located in Haslett's bedroom. Items of electronic storage, computers, external hard drives, cell phones, and cameras were recovered. An unsecured handgun with the hammer back and a round in the chamber was also recovered from the living room couch. Hey, thank you. Crystal AKA Beaver Gaming sub Crystal, the longest name in YouTube history. Trying for a wave. She's trying for a wave. Are they going to let Crystal AK down? There's Play-Doh. There it is. That's Play-Doh, not Play-Doh, as a lot of people like to say. Hey, Greg, get the hell out of here, okay? Jesus. These people, they just come in here. I don't give a damn what she covers over there. There's so many of these sickos, yeah. Thanks, 8675309 and Cindy J. Hey, thank you, Simply Me.
Donation wave, hugging face, hugging face.
Alright. Can't stand when people do that. And they did, you know what they did? It was they came in and sort of purposely misspelled it. I'm going to get rid of that person. Have a good one. What do you mean sure won't run out of crimes to cover? Yeah, there's lots of crimes, yep. Alright, so
Christmas wave, ocean wave.
Among the several, I'll just turn that off for a second. Among the several items of evidence that was collected at the residence was a piece of paper that contained handwritten questions and answers that appeared to have been questions. Among several items of evidence that was collected at the residence was a piece of paper that contained handwritten questions and answers that appeared to have been questions Haslett asked her, followed by her answers. A pink and red tutu was recovered from the basement. A black gas mask and large blue barrels were also located. Ew. I mean, what an absolute horror show. How terrifying do you think that would be? Unreal. This is right now, you guys. I'm not sure what you're saying, Sherry. I'm just reading the documents. Thanks, Heather N. Now, the dungeon was outfitted with 2 interior security cameras, in addition to a security camera that was located outside the room. Man, when she escaped, he probably was, oh my god, you know. And positioned towards a shower. The cameras appeared to operate wirelessly, and a hard drive or other type of storage system was not located for the cameras. The cameras contain ports for secure digital cards, commonly referred to as SD cards. Man. But none of the cameras were found to contain one. The only door to this room was secured by magnetic. I wonder if he was storing the video on somewhere else. Even though they could hold SD cards, he had a central location that he would store the videos, kind of a little bit like, let's see. What the hell's his name? I was actually thinking of Stephen Stearns. Jeez. Like he had, remember in his apartment, he had a server that he stored the videos on. The cameras contained ports for secure digital cards. The only door to this room was secured by magnetic locks, similar to what would be seen inside a business, and an interior electronic keypad. There were several photos of the inside of the room, some of which separately depicted this victim, another unknown female, and Haslett, saved inside the black Samsung cell phone. Based upon the angle of view of these photos, they appear to have been captured by the cameras mounted to the ceiling of the dungeon. While continuing the investigation, additional information was developed from police interviews. A confidential source was contacted and stated he believed Haslett began constructing the room in the basement in 2021. Thanks, Michelle H. On October 7, 2022, a search warrant was obtained for the black Samsung cell phone recovered from Haslett's person. On October 8, 2022, let's see. On October 7, 2022, a search warrant was obtained for the black Samsung cell phone recovered from Haslett's person. On October 8, 2022, an investigator from the Heart of America Regional Computer Forensic Laboratory executed the warrant on the Samsung cell phone. The phone number assigned to the subscriber identity module of the phone was, gave a phone number out. Photos of Haslett dressed in female lingerie were located. A photo of her, meaning the victim, and a tutu in the dungeon was located, the surviving victim. While continuing to conduct the preliminary analysis of the Samsung phone, the investigators also viewed a photo of a female who was laying on the floor next to a bed in a room that contained visible constraints, chains, and handcuffs. The female appeared to be half naked, with the exception of a latex top. The timestamp on the photo of the unknown female was June 6, 2022. It should be noted that this female was not the victim, as this was prior to the date the victim reported to have been kidnapped and did not resemble her. Further, the phone contained a combination of over 100,000, of over 100,000 photos and videos. Jesus. Hereinafter media. A lot of the media appeared to be saved screenshots taken from pornographic websites. The media depicted females being, I think they didn't need to put an apostrophe, it's just females plural, not a possessive. Females being choked, gagged, wearing gas masks, wearing different types of restraints, and or in otherwise aggressive, submissive situations. The phone also contained saved images of Missouri River navigation maps. In an effort to identify the unknown female, Kansas City, Missouri Police Department's Vice Squad reviewed historic arrests for commercial sex work in which an arrestee bore a resemblance to the unidentified female. 2 potential matches were identified, one of which was In an effort to identify the unknown female, Kansas City, Missouri Police Department Vice Squad reviewed historic arrests for, hey, welcome, Mo Show Me, for commercial sex work in which an arrestee bore a resemblance. Okay, so it's sort of like a website. 2 potential matches were identified, one of which was black female. Her name, I don't know her. And then it says, on January 12, 2023, at approximately 4:30, a family member of this, let's see, I'm not sure, filed a miscellaneous investigation report regarding her not having had contact with, so this is a family member, and they're talking about they haven't had contact with this individual up here since September of 2022 at Independence Avenue and Bales Avenue, Kansas City, Jackson County, Missouri. Witness number 1 later stated she was not certain of the date she last had contact with this other woman, but recalled it was not long after, so it's another victim, probably the murdered victim, but recalled it was not long after she had been released from custody. Witness number 1 advised she had observed this other victim on local televised news channel to be a potential, I don't know. Witness number 1 advised she had observed somebody on a local televised news channel to be a potential witness to a kidnapping rape case out of Excelsior Springs, Clay County, Missouri. Investigators conducted an extensive search to find that person or the last person to see her live. This included a billboard being placed in a high-trafficked area of Kansas City, Missouri that contained an edited photo of, this is kind of tough because they're referring to a whole bunch of different people here. Witness number 2, a family member of a victim, advised she last spoke with that person on the phone in March of 2022. Witness number 3, also a family member of that same person, stated she last saw that person between August 13th and August 25th. So maybe that's, I'm just so far away. Is that a different person? 2 different people here? 2022 at a taco truck in the area of Independence Avenue and Van Brunt Boulevard in Kansas City, Jackson County, Missouri. Witness number 3 also stated she was not certain of the dates, as she recalled it was a week after this person had been released from custody. A search of that person's criminal history revealed she had been released from custody on April 22nd, 2022. No evidence has been located that verified that she was alive after June 2022. So that's this murdered victim that was found in a barrel. On January 30th, 2023, Detective so-and-so, a Gladstone, Missouri Police Department detective assigned to the Heart of America Regional Computer Forensic Lab, found photos of what appeared to be family gathering on an SD card recovered during the execution of a search warrant at Haslett's residence. Photos of what appear to be family gathering. The photos appear to be exclusively African American individuals taken on December 8, 2007 on a Nikon camera, which was not recovered from Haslett's residence. On February 1st, 2023, the photos of the adults were sent to the Missouri Information Analysis Center for facial recognition examination. Tentative identification of 2 of the 3 adult males were found to be brothers to a former fiancé of this other victim. These identifications were confirmed through a combination of social media profiles, criminal history reports, interviews of the subjects depicted, and government photographs. Man, that's right out of a movie. On June 24, 2023, at approximately 4 o'clock, Sergeant, not sure why they don't put the name there, was contacted by Saline County Sheriff, and they got it all blacked out. Why can't we see the sheriff's names? The sheriff's department was notified of human remains that were discovered in a barrel in the Missouri River in an area known as Hillshoe Island. Sheriff so-and-so requested the Missouri State Highway Patrol Division of Drug and Crime Control conduct the investigation. No, I don't think it's that confusing. It's so crazy that they were able to take the 2007 family photos. I don't know why this guy had them on his phone. And then were able to determine that 2 of the people were relatives to the victim he killed. These people up here were just witnesses to the last time they saw this other person that, well, I mean, it's in here. Hold on. Yeah, Janie Crosdale. I mean, you could literally put Janie Crosdale in here. You know, in some of these areas. Witness number 2, a family member of Janie, probably, advised she last spoke with Janie on the phone in March of 2022. Witness number 3, also a family member of Janie, stated she last saw Janie between August 13th and August 25th, 2022. Witness number 3 also stated she was not certain of the dates, as she recalled it was a week after Janie had been released from custody. A search of Janie's criminal history revealed she had been released from custody on April 22nd, 2022. No evidence has been located that verified Janie was alive after early June 2022. Does that make more sense now? On January 30th, 2023, detective so-and-so, and then brother. So this is that crazy part where the photos appear to be exclusively African-American individuals taken on December 8, 2007 on a Nikon camera, which was not recovered from Haslett's residence. On February 1st, 2023, the photos of the adults were sent to the Missouri Information Analysis Center, and they used that crazy facial recognition. Tentative identification of 2 of the 3 adult males were found to be brothers to a former fiancé of Janie. These identifications were confirmed through a combination of social media profiles, criminal history reports, interviews of the subjects depicted, and government photos. On June 24, 2023, at approximately 4 p.m., Sergeant, without a name, contacted by Selena. Oh yeah, this is when they found the barrel, right? So, human remains that were discovered in a barrel in the Missouri River in an area known as Hillshoe Island. The sheriff requested the Missouri State Highway Patrol Division of Drug and Crime Control conduct the investigation. On June 24, 2023, at approximately 5:27 hours, investigators arrived at the Waverly River Access in Waverly, Missouri. Salina County Sheriff's Deputy was already on the scene. Missouri State Highway Patrol Corporals so-and-so and so-and-so arrived at approximately 5:52 and 6:01 respectively. After moving to the Waverly Port access, investigators boarded a Missouri State Highway Patrol boat and traveled to the area of the located remains. Investigators contacted the reporting parties, who stated they were on a kayak trip and decided to stop in the area to camp for the night. They located a blue barrel and were going to use it for target practice as they removed the barrel from its location in some logs. They dropped it. Man, so they weren't even going to look in it. They were just going to start using it for target practice, but they moved it by some logs, and by some chance it fell and the lid popped off and a skull came out. One witness used a pair of pliers to turn the skull over to confirm it was human. They then contacted authorities. The witness filled out written statements. The barrel containing the remains was located near piles of driftwood on the south side of an area known as Hills Island Chute. The barrel was a Grief brand blue colored 30-gallon barrel with lid and locking ring. That's exactly like that barrel in that case we just did the other night at that house that had been there for 30 years. The barrel was on its side and the opening facing south. Apparent decomposition matter had run downhill from the barrel. The skull's lower mandible, vertebrae, and several other bones had come out of the barrel into the ground. After documenting the scene, the remains which fell out of the barrel were placed back inside. The barrel was then picked up, the lid was secured, and it was secured in a body bag. Investigators then transported the barrel and remains back to the Waverly Port access and was released to the Saline County Coroner's Office. Photographs of the barrel shown an apparent bullet defect. An autopsy was conducted on June 27, 2023 at approximately 8:30 hours at the Boone Callaway Medical Examiner's Office in Columbia, Missouri. The autopsy was performed by some sort of medical examiner person, was assisted by a technician. How about medical examiner named Bob and a technician named Jim? How come they're both guys, Gray? I mean, geez, it's so sexist of you, you bastard. Well, I thought Bobby was a girl. It was a female medical examiner, okay? The autopsy was performed by Bobby, and it was assisted by Jim, the technician. The contents of the recovered barrel were photographed and documented by investigators. On July 11, 2023, investigators obtained a femur segment from the Boone County Medical Examiner's Office, and this is probably where they're going to extract some DNA, located at some address, Columbia, Missouri, to be forwarded to the Missouri State Highway Patrol Laboratory for DNA analysis. On July 13, 2023, investigators submitted a request for copies of any dental records belonging to whoever that, the Janie, okay, to the Missouri Department of Corrections. Based on information previously obtained from the Excelsior Springs Police Department and the Clay County Prosecutor's Office, it was believed the remains located were those of Janie. On July 30th, 2023, investigators was notified by the Boone County Medical Examiner's Office that the recovered remains were positively identified as Janie's. On August 11, 2023, the Boone County Medical Examiner's Office provided investigators a copy of the forensic anthropology report completed by forensic anthropologists. The report was indicated that the remains were those of an African-American female, approximately 30 to 45 years of age at the time of death, with an estimated stature of 59 to 66.1 inches. The report further stated that both paramortem high-velocity projectile trauma and paramortem blunt force trauma were observed to the remains. These injuries are classified as paramortem. Let's see, where'd that go? Due to the lack of gross or microscopic evidence of healing, as well as pattern of fracture and the presence of plastic deformation. There are 2 defects to the lower spine consistent with paramortem. I forgot what that. Hold on a second. I think that means like at the time of death. Yeah, at or near the time of death. Okay, there you go. Due to the lack of gross microscopic evidence of healing, as well as pattern of fracture and the presence of plastic deformation. There are 2 defects to the lower spine consistent with paramortem high velocity projectile trauma. These defects are the result of a single event. However, differentiation between entry and exit cannot be determined. There is paramortem blunt force trauma to the lower right leg with a lateral to, so she was just like beaten to death. That's what happened. On August 21st, 2023, investigators received copies of dental x-rays. Let's see. Investigators received the copies of dental x-ray photographs and a copy of the autopsy report. On August 21st, 2023, investigators received a certified report authored by Missouri State Highway Patrol criminals, dated August 15, 2023, referenced DNA testing of the previous submitted femur segment. The report indicated there was an insufficient quantity of DNA for analysis. I believe that the defendant will not appear in court in response to a criminal summons because due to the nature of the crimes he has been accused of. I believe that the defendant poses a danger to the community or to any other person because Haslett has been accused of murder, kidnapping, rape, sodomy, and armed criminal action. Well, there you go. Crazy, huh? Man, what a... I guess it didn't really get into detail of what happened, like how she... Because there's nobody to speak. They just know that that's her in the barrel and it matched what the victim said to police. But all that reading, man, that was definitely super chat worthy, you guys. You gotta admit, man, that was some amazing reading. Coming up with names, filling in the blanks. The Terrell family of 5 disappeared July 4th. Just found. Oh, yeah, where at? Were they... okay. Parents in missing family case may be on the way to Mexico. Were they just found like minutes ago or? Okay. I don't see it. No, I don't see it, Lynn. So it's not all over the news. I don't see it. I just looked it up. It's not there. I can't watch them because I have to sign up for something. I guess we could watch this. This is on Excelsior
Good
Citizen.
afternoon. My name is Zach Thompson. I'm the Clay County prosecutor. I am joined by Chief Greg Dole of the Excelsior Springs Police Department, Sergeant Chris Johnson of the Clay County Sheriff's Department, Captain Nathan Mulch of the Liberty Police Department, Captain Carl Burris of the Gladstone Police Department, and also in attendance is investigators Michael Bailey and Tammy Hink with the Clay County Prosecutor's Office.
Those are the new charging papers, aren't they? What we just read. I don't want to. Let me just... God, you guys. Yeah. Which one is it? I don't know which one that you sent has it in it. Okay. I need stuff like really easy to sort of digest. I don't know where the document is. I don't see it. Is it a link somewhere in one of these, or?
I want to begin by saying that the charge of an offense is not evidence of guilt, and the defendants are presumed innocent until found guilty in a court of law. I also want to say that my heart goes out to the victims and the families in this case. Today, the Clay County Grand Jury indicted Timothy Haslett Jr. on...
Yeah, why don't you just send me an email, SS Timmons. I can't just sort of stop and look it up.
10 felony counts. The defendant was previously charged with 9 felonies, including rape, sodomy, kidnapping, assault, and endangering the welfare of a child. Those charges remain the same. The new charge is for the murder of Janie Crosdale. Specifically, that between June 6, 2022 and October 7, 2022 in Clay County, Missouri, the defendant, after deliberation, knowingly caused the death of Janie Crosdale by an act of homicidal violence. Murder in the first degree is an A felony, and the range of punishment for that offense is either death or imprisonment for life without the eligibility of probation or parole. The court set the defendant's bond at $5 million. We became aware of the facts of this case beginning on October 7th, 2022, when the defendant's surviving victim was able to escape captivity from the defendant's basement. Since that day, the defendant has remained in custody. Investigators from over 16 law enforcement agencies have worked together pursuing over 100 leads and reviewing evidence. I commend their hard work on this case. During the investigation, over 100,000 photo and video files were recovered, and investigators have been spending countless hours reviewing them for relevant evidence. Today's indictment represents the next step in our pursuit of justice for the victims, the families, and our community. The physical, psychological, and sexual torture described by the defendant's surviving victim is brutal and barbaric. When crimes like this occur in our community, it can be devastating. So I want the citizens of Clay County to know that the men and women of the Clay County Prosecutor's Office are working hard inside and outside the courtroom and doing everything we can to keep them safe and deliver justice. Our work continues. And I would urge anyone who knows anything about this case to contact the Excelsior Springs Police Department. With that being said, and understanding this is an open and pending case, I will answer a few questions. Correct.
And do you think there are other victims, like the witness stated, that Timothy had told them there were multiple people who previously been escaped?
So today's indictment represents all available charges with the facts and evidence available to us, right? The surviving victim did mention that the defendant stated he had killed 2 people, but today's charges represent everything we can charge with the available evidence.
It's one additional charge, more than the 9 original.
Correct. The 9 original charges are the same. The only additional charge is the charge of murder in the first degree.
How do you believe that that's really happening?
Well, the evidence is that Janie Crosdale had previously been arrested for commercial sex work, and that that is how they came in contact with each other. But I want to say to your question, right? In Clay County, regardless of who you are, how much money you have, what the color of your skin is, everyone is entitled to equal protection under the law.
To you, what stands out most egregious about this case?
So my goal in this case, like every other case, right, is to find justice inside the courtroom. So I will save all those comments in the presentation of that type of evidence for Clay County courtroom.
Mr. Haslett suspected of any other crimes of violence at this time?
Well, so the probable cause statement indicates, right, that he had told his surviving victim that he had taken the life of two previous.
I don't want any more emails. I gotta go.
The charge we have right now for murder for Janie Crosdale represents all available charges that is possible considering the facts and evidence we have.
I don't want to listen to any more of that. Here's the charging documents. This looks just like the one I had earlier from years ago. That looks kind of boring. I'm not going to read that. Hey, Tracy. Let's see. Is that another one? That's just the same thing that I just had. I think that's the same document that you just sent. Just isn't it the same charging document? I mean, there's nothing really. It's not really. These charging documents are kind of boring. They read about statutes and different things, and I like the one that actually describes what happened, like that last one we just read that you gave me from earlier. That one was interesting. Yeah, no, that one's from today. The other one, both the one at the bottom of that document and the one you just sent are the same document. I thought the other one looked like the old one, but they look the same. Yeah, Gene, it meant at the same time. Like around the time of death is what it means. Yeah. Oh, I see. Well, I found it. Remember on the screen I scrolled down and I saw it, and I downloaded it during the show, and then I had that press conference playing. You're probably going out helping me find it when I did that. You told me to scroll down, so I scrolled down to the bottom. You probably had already taken off. Let's see. Well, I had this other one I was going to do, but I'm not really sure, you guys. Not sure. Was a standoff at a motel? Well, why don't you guys go watch that? All right, everybody. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you to Amy Lemoyne, Danny Stanzel, and just so you guys know, like if you want to compare to like how we from before, the last like 4 nights in a row are a third of the normal what we used to do. You know, so it's sort of like once I took the you know, like, hey everybody, if you can help support the channel off, you know, when I don't do it, it's really affecting the channel dramatically. So I don't know what to say. I mean, if I'm doing live streams, mainly, it's just one of these things, like, I'm not sure what to do. I'm trying to be mellow and everything, but man, it's crazy. But anyways, thanks to Amy Lemoyne, Danny Stanzel, Lisa Valenzuela, Ella Blue, Lori B, Michelle H, S.S. Timmons, Danny Stanzel, new member, Mike S, Simply Me, Lisa Online, Red Bones, Chicken Wing, Crystal aka Beaver Gaming Sub Crystal, Plato 8675309, Cindy J, Simply Me, Heather M, Shell H, and another new member, Mo Show Me. So, all right, everybody, thank you very much for being here. You know, that's an interesting case. I had another one, but I got to go work on a video. All right, thanks, everybody. Got to find some other way. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gragel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later.